I've been traveling by plane for over 30 years now. In fact, my very first flight was an international one. Hi, my name is Lori and the channel is GlobeTrotterLori. Welcome to our teaching and learning community where the goal is to educate, motivate, and inspire each other with all things travel related. In this week's video, I'm going to teach you a little bit about some of the common mistakes that are made when traveling internationally. This can be great for the novice traveler, is this your first international trip, as well as for the more experienced traveler who may just be getting back into travel because we've had a way too long break, involuntary break. I'm sure you can find a nugget regardless of where you land on the spectrum from novice to experienced travel. Let's get right into it. Mistake number one, failing to get your passport early. As a matter of fact, failing to get a passport and a visa if necessary. And side note, do you know the difference between a passport book and a passport card? Well, the passport book is more popular, a little bit more expensive than the passport card. The passport card is small enough to fit into your wallet, kind of like the size of a driver's license, but the passport book fits into your back pocket, your pocketbook, your bag, your jacket, what have you. The passport card can only be used for overland travel to Mexico and to Canada, as well as for cruises to Bermuda and to the Caribbean. Make sure that you check the latest updates because these things can update quite frequently. Travel.state.gov to apply for a passport, to renew a passport, to apply for a passport card. But in this case, since we're talking about international travel, a lot of people may think that they could just get the cheaper alternative, the more convenient, smaller one, the card, and think that that will do for their flights. However, you cannot get on international flights with a passport card. Okay? Mistake number two, waiting on long lines. If you know about global entry, then you're way ahead of the game. If you don't know about global entry, come a little closer because you'll learn something new today. So global entry is this pre-approved program through the government. You go to cbp.gov and you apply online. They do a background check on you. You will need to be fingerprinted. You will need to have your picture taken. You pay a $100 fee, and this $100 fee is non-refundable. You then get an appointment to go to a location. Usually it's an international airport location where you have an interview with a Customs and Border Patrol agent. So if you're traveling internationally, here's a little trick. If you're traveling internationally, you can request when you re-enter the US to speak to a Customs and Border Patrol agent. And right away they ask a few questions, they snap a picture. And then a few weeks later, if you're approved, you get the card in the mail. Now, the biggest thing is you don't have to go through those lines, those mazes. You don't have to fill out that paperwork. If you have ever traveled internationally, then you know it's like herding cattle. You go through the lines, you have your paperwork filled out, you're waiting for someone to call you up, ask you what you brought into the country, what was the nature of your travel, and all these questions. Whereas with the card, all you do is you go to one of those kiosks at airports that have the kiosks, of course, when you re-enter the United States, and you scan that, you take a picture, and you go through. So you don't have to stand on the long lines. So not waiting on lines. Another bonus, that $100 gets you a 7-year approval window, and you also get TSA pre-check. So for international flights, you have global entry, and for domestic flights, you have TSA pre-checks. So that means that at airports locally within the US, if they have pre-check lines, then you can get on the pre-check line instead of the general line, which is usually, in the cases that I found, much shorter, especially if you're dealing with the larger airports. Mistake number three, paying too much. You're pretty good at navigating the internet, then you know about all of the online travel sites, Expedia, Travelocity, Kayak, Priceline, all of those. There are way too many sites out there, way too many discount carriers. Pro tip, subscribe to newsletters, subscribe to listservs. My favorite is Going. Subscribe to the newsletter, it's free. They send you all of these daily, almost, I think, emails with cheap flights, sales, going to this location, that location. You put in your home airports or your preferred airports to travel from, and and your preferred locations, and they send you all of that for a nominal fee. I think it's less than $100 a year. You can also get business class and higher seat listings sent to you. Also, you get mistake fares sent to you. Incredible. So paying too much in this day and age, in the age of the internet, it is a crime. It is a crime. Mistake number 4, not selecting your aircraft and your seats. You may see several different flights going to your destination within the same time frame that you need to get there. And all you need to do is look at what kind of aircraft it is. If you're gonna be on a flight for hours anyway, you might as well have the extra leg room. You might as well have a newer aircraft. You might as well have, for some of us, we need the extra hip room. You need to see if they have the USB chargers for your mobile devices, if they have the in-screen, the in-seat, or the screen back entertainment screens, so you can catch up on your latest shows or what have you. But why not? Why not check and see what kind of plane you're flying? The other thing is choosing your seats. Seat Guru is perhaps the number one. There's Seat Maestro, there's all these other sites that are out there, but Seat Guru is number one for helping you to easily select your seat. They have an easy color-coded key where green means it's a good seat, red means it's a bad seat, and yellow means it's a questionable seat. So do you want to sit next to the bathroom on the airplane? Most people do not. Do you want to have a window seat? Perhaps. You can choose your aircraft and you can choose your seats. Mistake number 5, not researching your destination. So for international flights, the first thing I would tell you to do is go to cdc.gov, the Center for Disease Control. They will let you know if there are any travel alerts, if there are any travel watches placed on certain countries, placed on certain areas, if there are certain things you should avoid, certain foods you should avoid, certain, don't drink the water, avoid these animals, what vaccines are required, what vaccines are recommended. They even, for some locations, have a suggested packing list for that location. So do your research, find out what you need to know ahead of time. Know before you go. Mistake number 6, booking and traveling without a credit card. If you're going to print out your boarding pass at the airport, we'll talk about that later. If you're going to print out your boarding pass at the airport, then you should book your travel with the same credit card that you're going to use to print it out, because it's just easier to do that at a kiosk. Credit cards are sometimes also required for your lodging and also for your rental cars if you need to use them. Find out before you go which credit cards are accepted in your host country, because some are not. Discover is not accepted everywhere. American Express is not accepted everywhere. So again, know before you go. Some places are also cashless. And I don't know of any airlines where they accept cash on board a flight. Mistake number 7, not setting up travel alerts. We spoke about taking a credit card. You should contact the bank for that credit card. You should contact the bank for your debit card if you're going to be using a debit card. You should also contact your mobile phone carrier. Let them know that you will be traveling. You want to also contact contact the USPS, the United States Postal Service. Stop your mail for a while. I like to stop my mail for any time period over 4 days, whether traveling domestically or internationally. You want to contact a trustworthy neighbor. Let them know that you're going to be gone. You want to also contact your ICEs that we spoke about in the solo video. Make sure you turn on your location so that they can know where you are geographically at any point in time. Set up those travel alerts. Mistake number 8, forgetting to bring small denominations of cash. I like to travel with a few $100s in 1s and 5s. This is for tipping. This is for purchasing at smaller retailers, perhaps in areas where credit cards are not accepted. And you need to find out that before you travel as well, whether this is a mostly cash-based country or whether this is a mostly plastic country. So if you're going to be traveling somewhere where it's a mostly cash-based country, I will, make sure I know where the banks are, where the ATMs are, how to get money out, if there will be any foreign transaction fees. With the bank I use, there are no foreign transaction fees for my debit card, for any ATMs in the world, and no foreign transaction fees with my credit card either. Mistake number 9, not downloading local apps before you go. Speaking of doing things before you leave home, Download a local translator app if you don't know the language of the country where you're visiting. Also, download local map apps. Speaking of apps, mistake number 10 is not downloading the airline app. Remember earlier when we were talking about if you're going to purchase the ticket with your credit card and you're going to need to print out a boarding pass? You won't need to print out a boarding pass in this day and age if you download the airline's app, because then your boarding pass is digital. It's on the app. You can store it in your digital wallet on your phone, so you don't even have to open your phone fully. You can just double click the side, depending on the type of device you have, of course, and present your boarding pass and board easily without fumbling, looking for papers, maybe spilling something on the papers and all of that, okay? Downloading the app not only gets you access to your digital boarding pass, it also gets you access to all of the alerts, all of the notifications. I've been sitting in the gate area before and not heard the gate agent announce that the flight was boarding. However, my handy dandy app dinged for me. You want to make sure that you have the app because you can also easily rebook if there is a cancellation. You can also easily get refunded through the app, through your miles, through whatever it is that you're using. You can also track your flight through the app. So it's a great little tip. If you've not already done so, then download the airline app. Well, that's it. The quick and dirty version. Hope that you enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, I hope that you would consider giving this video a thumbs up. Liking the video tells other people that the video is valuable and that they should perhaps check it out as well, that they can find some nuggets of interest there that may be helpful to them. Be sure to come back next time because I have upcoming videos with travel vlogs, pack with me videos, because I'll be traveling. And so I want you to see me put into practice all of those tips that I shared with you in previous videos and how I avoid all of the mistakes that I talked about in this video. Now, little quiz for you. I said in the beginning of the video that my first trip was international. If you know the destination of my first international trip and the origin of my first international trip, go ahead and in the comments put the flag of my origin country with an arrow to the flag of my destination country so I can see all who are paying attention, all who know, because I didn't say it in the video, but all who know me well enough to know where I'm from and where I traveled from and where I traveled to. Until next time, remember, value experiences over things, because travel is the only thing you buy that makes you richer. Thank you so very much for watching. Ciao.